We used to say that the game day was the day off. Practice was so much harder than the games because we just push each other so hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the crossover with Joe Arlauckas. And it's not the crossover as you used to know it. This is the EuroLeague. It's the 25th anniversary of this special league. And we're bringing you special editions, conversations with past champions, not only talking about how difficult the road is to get there, but how impossible it is to actually win a Final Four in that very special weekend. Today, I get to take you guys back a little ways, almost, what are we talking, 15 years to 2010, when Barcelona dominated the entire season. Arguably the best team ever. We'll talk about that as we go. They finished in style, 2010 EuroLeague champs, and I have two very special guests with me. One is Boniface Ndong, and number two is the coach, Xavi Pascual. Fellas, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me, man. This is such a special moment. I know you guys probably think I'm a Real Madrid guy from the beginning, but that doesn't matter. I like the champions, man. Xavi, how are you? Everything good?
Fine, everything good. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you for coming. Right? Just fill us in now. 4 years you've been in St. Petersburg, right? In Russia, coaching Zenit?
A little bit more than 4, almost 5.
Almost 5, going on 5 years. Man, how's your Russian?
I cannot speak too much, but I can understand a little bit.
Well,
But,
you could probably understand the things that I could say, which aren't really good.
for sure, I will.
Boney, I can call you Boney, right?
Yes, Joe, of course.
Thank you. It makes it a little easier throughout the interview. And now you're in Denver, right?
Yes.
Let's fill us in with all that. I love to get filled in by you guys. What have you done since you retired? You retired from Turkey, I believe, right?
Yes. So Galatasaray with Ataman was my last year, 2013. And I was fortunate to win the championship with the team, I think, that didn't win for 27 years. After that, I went back to retire. I can call it retire. In Malaga, it didn't last long. And then Joan Plaza got me into coaching, by starting helping the team a little bit. And then the next thing you know, he asked me to join the staff. And then, the rest is history. I've been coaching since then, 3 years in Malaga and now going to my 6th season in Denver.
What's that? You guys got some Serbian guy there.
What's
his name?
Jokic.
Jokic. Yeah, that guy. I've heard about him, man. Now,
you should be crucified for not knowing his name.
no, it was just a joke. Come on, man. It was just a joke. Of course I know Jokic. Look here. I have to ask you, they say you're head of player development. So are you the reason why he's so good?
I think he's the reason why I look good. There is a sentence I like. They said, "Not great coaches make great players, but great players make great coaches." No, he's amazing, and I think nobody can take credit for what he's doing. He's just special. Yeah,
it's crazy, man. It's great. The numbers that he puts up, Xavi. I mean, what would you do with a guy like him?
He's amazing. But now I'm thinking something funny because Bonnie was my player. So Bonnie play amazing game because of me. So if Jokic is playing like this because of Bonnie, so Jokic is playing because of me. So it's fantastic.
by the way, thank you, Xavi. I never had a chance to say that. Thank you very much.
No, thanks to you. It was amazing to be together.
When was the last time you guys talked to each other and saw each other?
I don't remember. I think we met in one game in Malaga. I think when still I was in Barcelona.
Yes.
I don't remember 2015 or 16. I don't remember.
So exactly. A long time ago.
Very
long time.
Yes.
Let's jump in. Javi, I want to talk about you building this team because you guys went to a Final Four the year before, and you changed a bunch of players after that. You lost to Cheska, which is we'll get into that with your run this season. But in 2009, 2010, you changed. Ricky Rubio comes in, Pete Mickeal comes in, Lorbeck, Terence Morris, Boney. Why the change? Did you just feel it was necessary, or what?
Okay, multifactorally, let's say we were thinking that we need to improve our game in especially in these positions 3, 4, 5, and to make one step more, because if you want to win the EuroLeague, you must be dominated in all these scenarios. And the market help us, in that moment. These great players, they were finishing contract. We could go there. It was amazing moment for amazing players in amazing age. Sometimes it happens, and when it happens, after that you can be able to have success.
Bonnie, when you came in, you were pretty much, let's say, a journeyman, so to speak. From coming from home, you were supposed to go to college. I guess you never really made it to college for whatever reason they gave you, and then you just kind of like found your way around and played with a bunch of different teams. And now all of a sudden you're in Barcelona in this project that went to the Final Four the year before that. What did that feel like for you?
First of all, I will share why I came to Barcelona. You know,
Oh,
af-
I love when I love when you guys start sharing things. That's the best part of the show.
uh, after my season in Malaga, that I had opportunities to kind of just challenge myself a little bit more, because in my career I was always looking, to play in a competitive team. So I had offers from Real Madrid first, then I had an offer from Kimki, then of course Barcelona came. And in the discussion with my agent, what was the best opportunity? I think Pete Mickeal signed probably 2 days, 3 days before me. And right when I saw that he signed for Barcelona, I called my agent. I said, I'm going to Barcelona. And he said, why? I said, because Pete signed, and I know that with Pete, we're going to destroy everybody. And my agent just, just laughed at me. And no, but when I saw the team they were building, I knew right away that that would be really the team, because Pete, that time coming from Vitoria, Basconia, we had so many tough games against them. Once I realized that he was going to Barcelona, I just know that that was the probably the best sparring partner to kind of be a very competitive team. So his signing was the kind of the kick for me deciding to choose Barcelona.
Xavi, what was it about Pete that you saw when he was in Basconia? I mean, because he seems to me like as that American. Like there's been Americans that have come out here. I feel as though I was one of them that really feel like they're part of a team. They're part of an atmosphere. And Pete played with that determination. He played mean. He was just one of those players. I didn't get a chance to see him a lot, but I watched a bunch of highlights of him, and he just reminded me of one of those guys that could determine whether you win or lose a game. And what did you see him when he was in Basconia?
Okay, first of all, I have to say that with all the respect, with all the foreigners that I had in my career, that is a lot of players, Pete was the number one. Is
Mhm.
because of the mentality, because the ethics, hard work every day in every practice. Every day he wants to win. You were making one competition of shoot that in that period, for example, 3 points was not when he came from Basconia. Okay, he could score, but it was not a great shooter. But he wanted to win. He wanted to win in any occasion, in any situation, in any practice. And this kind of a spirit that was inside of the team, because also all the teammates day by day they were going in the same direction, was very important for us. Was one crucial sign, as Bonnie said very well. After that, I think all a lot of players they decide to come with us, but in the meantime was one player key factor, let's say, defensively, offensively, in the crucial moments, in the most important situation when the team was, in all the games, some moments the team doesn't play well, and you need to give the ball someone to score and
Right.
to change the way, let's say. So Pete was the key factor in
Well,
this team.
you have some kid named Juan Carlos Navarro there too that could take care of that also. So you had two guys on the roster that can do that for you, which makes
Yes,
life a lot
yes.
easier.
Yes, but sometimes with Juan Carlos, in off screens they could switch, or in pick and roll they could play trap with him. So you
Right.
need sometimes something different in the game, to give the ball in one semi isolation with a little bit motion, and from there to take the decision. And Pete was excellent on these situations.
You also brought in this young kid named Ricky Rubio, who, back then he was known back then he was known because he was so young when he started playing in his first games in the ACB and some of the so on. And I've heard that you had mentioned at one point that you saw him one practice and that was it. That's all you really needed to see to say that this is the kid for my team. Because it's a big risk being an 18-year-old with guys like Pete Mickeal, guys like Juan Carlos. What was Rubio like from the beginning?
I remember, I think Bonnie will remember, we were playing the first official competition, Liga Catalana in Sant Jordi, in Palau Sant Jordi.
Yes.
And Ricky was coming from national team, and I think semifinals was, I don't remember well, maybe it was Saturday, and he came Friday. So he came only for one practice, and before the practice, we start to talk about my playbook, this, that, boom, boom. And in the end of the first practice, he was leading everybody, remembering all the plays and tactically understanding everything. So it was another level, man. It was another level. I said to my assistants, I never saw this in my life. And still now, I never saw something like this. Like how with, in that moment was 18, I think. I don't
Yes.
remember
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes, he
18,
was 18.
18,
Yes.
18. Immediately, he understood absolutely everything. For sure, he was coming from Aito, but tactically, was amazing. Was one impact in my eyes that was something special, and I will never forget.
Bonnie, what are you thinking at that time? You're like, oh man, I came all the way to Barcelona. I got all these good players, and they're gonna put an 18-year-old at point guard. What's going on around here, right?
No. So, like Xavi mentioned, the amazing thing about Ricky, it was how smart he was, right? So first, I played against him. I have to confess, I didn't like him when he was in Juventud, because I'm like, the referee always giving all the foul because he knew how to draw foul, he knew how to fake to get the fouls. So and then when I had him, like Xavi mentioned, I was fortunate. I had a really good point guard on Omar Cook the year before, right? So, and what I learned with Omar is every time you open, the ball is coming. So when I came with Ricky, and he never missed the pass. Like if you open and you don't see the ball is coming into your hand. So
I love it.
my question was how a 18 years old can be that smart and that precise at that level. So that just to to say again what Xavi just said, that Ricky was so advanced mentally, and he was so smart that it's not normal that 18 years old can be that smart at that level. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, exactly.
amazing, man. And this season, the season starts. You guys don't. You're 10-0 in the regular season, I believe, right? You don't lose a game until February, and I think you guys lost to Partizan. What I mean, what's going through your mind at this point? I mean, you guys are just kind of rolling through the league. It wasn't like the regular season was an easy one either. You guys had some good teams in that group. What I mean, are you guys thinking that this could be a special season? What's going on in the locker room on a daily basis?
Yeah. So first of all the players that came to that team were known, right? And like I mentioned with Pete, once you see the roster, this is the team you want to be. Why? Because you're going to be very competitive. Of course, I didn't know Xavi very well, but once I came there, you could sense the urgency. And then, of course, the club Barcelona that I've never been part of. Of course, you see them from outside. That time, before we came, the team was good, but it was not one of the best. So Basconia was really good. We were pretty good in Malaga. But once you come into the club, you sense the urgency, right? And what I really loved about Barcelona was everything that they did was about winning, right? Every action that was taken was about winning. So once I realized how competitive the team was, and I'm very competitive, of course you start dreaming, but it's just that we work so hard every day. And Xavi mentioned Pete, but I tell you a joke, Xavi, also, we never said, we used to say that the game day was the day off because practice was so much harder than the games because we just push each other so hard. And Xavi, remember, right? Our practice,
Yeah, I
we beat
remember.
each other so bad that you go home, you're like, damn. And then the day off, you're like, man, I'm just gonna play 20 minutes, is over. It's almost like a day off. So no, the team was very competitive. Yeah.
It's amazing when the team's that competitive and you practice on a daily basis, and it is like that. You go into the game, you're like, man, this is easy. This is so
Yes,
much easier than it is like on a regular basis. Xavi, what were you and the coaching staff thinking? Like, I mean, were there technical things that you, even though you're 10-0, you're still looking to, you have to stay ahead of everything, things that you want to change, maybe position wise. What were you guys talking about at 10-0? Because it doesn't happen very often in the EuroLeague, especially back then.
First of all, I will start saying that all the teams that they have success is because they have big part of the team from local players that they understand the philosophy of the club and the philosophy of the country, let's say. So in that period, we had this group of players like Grimau, Navarro, Saga, Trias,
Rabasera.
Rabaseda,
Barcelona.
and also players like Basile that was with us and understood already like one part of the club. So this part of the team was very important. After that, all the signing players, they were very good guys, hard workers. First of all, Pete and Bonnie that they were in. And we forgot Fran Vázquez also.
Yes.
I now
Fran,
remember.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that he was making amazing season also. But after that, these foreigners, starting from Pete and Bonnie, hard workers, always with this amazing ethics. Lorbeck, that was one player with big quality, and around people that was hard worker also. He was Morris, Lakovic, that was hard worker too. So we had one group of players that they match up with each other very, 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 very well. After that, from the coach's point of view, EuroLeague is like three different competitions. The first one is in regular
Right.
season. After in that period, also if I
The
don't
top
remember,
16.
top 16. After
Yeah,
that playoff,
you guys went 5-1 in the top 16.
we lost the game against Partizan in the last
Partizan, yeah,
second
in Belgrade.
in Belgrade. After that is playoff, and after that is final
The
four.
Final Four.
From the beginning, we understood that the team has possibilities to win, but also it was a new team. So
Yeah.
we didn't know if we will adjust very well in every step that you have to do to win the EuroLeague. This is one was the big question inside of the coaching staff. But we did it.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing, to get that team to gel with the new players, even though there's old players that I think, since like you say, you had that base of Spanish players, it makes it a little bit easier. But uh, through some of the stuff, I research as much information as I possibly can, but then I got the guys at EuroLeague that send me other stuff. And this one doesn't come from me, I can tell you this. But they said that most of the games, that the first play of the game was a play that you always went inside down low to Lorbeck to start the game off. Now you signed a team that pretty much wanted to like dominate from the middle. Was that what you were trying to do in the beginning? Try to like establish, like, your offensive game in the paint, or the defensive game? And why wasn't Boney getting that ball to the lower back? That's my question.
Because Bonnie was flashing to the free throws, and if they help, Bonnie was shooting and scoring all the time. So
Okay.
so as a second as a first creator, we were putting the ball inside of Norway because sometimes Joe very well. Sometimes to open the game inside of the paint always is something important, because like this everybody have confidence. Every player needs his role. Every team must understand how to play. And Lorbeck in that period in this position four, he was dominated, and in general, without any overhelp, he was scoring one on one. If somebody was helping, he could pass the ball. So it was one big part of the game for us.
Bonnie, when you were playing, what did you feel like your role was? Because I mean, you had a bunch of scorers on the team, with Michael, Juan Carlos, or whatever, and coach says you catch the ball at the foul line, you just knock it down every time. But so, what did you feel like your overall role was? Were you feel like a role player? Where you need to be more defensive?
I always like to see myself as an all-around player. It is true that I gave a lot of effort in defense, And because I believe that I had abilities, and I believe this is where I could help everybody. So I would say I gave 70% of my energy in defense. And then I think Xavi will remember, usually I did score most of the time, sometimes when it was important games or when it was, let's say, harder games. Because I just believe that, sometimes, let's say you play a good team and they prepare to try to stop Navarro or to try to stop Pete. And this is maybe where I get more opportunities. But my mind when I come to the game was always, number one, you have to play as hard as you can. And number one, you had to be the anchor of the defense. Yes, I could score, but scoring was never my first thing when I came to the game.
Yeah, I remember very well, Bonnie, that as more difficult was the game, better he was playing. So he has this ability that he was preparing very well his mind from the and adjust. He was adjusting very well his game. It depends of the quality or it depends of the level of the opponent. So this was the special from him.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's always good when they say that, right? That's like when Shaq said when Shaq couldn't make free throws, but he said he always made them at the end of the game. That's all that matters. When the game's on the line, I'm there. What Juan Carlos Navarro. All right. I mean, at the end of this interview, we're going to do the top five, the starting five of the 25th year anniversary and everything else. But I mean, he's definitely in my list. I got a feeling he's probably going to be in your list also. But I just loved watching him play. Tell me what it was like to, number one, Xavi to coach him and Monty to play with him, man. Because to me, he was just that killer. He's
Okay, for me, he's the best player that I have never been. I have never been with him in all the scenarios because he was complete in everything. He was very smart. He was especially in crucial moments also. And he finished this season in 2010 as a MVP of EuroLeague, which made me very happy because he was near several times, but only this time he could achieve this amazing trophy. And it was special to have this feeling inside of me that all of us we help him to achieve this mention. So it was excellent season in all the scenarios and also in this part of the game.
Yeah, he won MVP in 2009, the year that you guys lost the Cheska, I think. He was MVP of the EuroLeague. Then he got the Final Four the next season. So, Bonnie, what about playing with him, man? I mean, like, were there ever times where you're like, dude, stop shooting the ball so much?
Never, never, ever.
Never, no.
No, I mean, what makes a great team is the complementary between players. And Navarro was probably the number one, and him and Pete, number two. I could also say Lorbe. But the amazing thing about Navarro, everybody talk about his shooting. Yes, he was an amazing shooter, but not many people talk about his passing. Like me personally,
Yeah.
I knew that if you set a good screen for him, that you force the defense to have that ball is coming to you, right? So he was attracting so much in offense that if you did the right thing for him, he will return that to you. Also, people talk about, he wasn't good defensively. No, he was so smart. He knew also where his help was. He knew to do enough, just to not be a hole in defense. So I respect him a lot. I think he was one of the most important piece in that team. And like Xavi mentioned, it was just a combination it was almost the perfect team that everybody had a role to play. And Navarro, of course, played that role at perfection. And the other part is just, that willing and that mindset to take a very important shot, very big shot that, this. I know that I could give 200% in defense because I know Navarro will give 100% in offense.
You just said something that I've said for years, being out here and working with EuroLeague. I've seen players. The first guy that comes to my head is J.C. Carroll, for example, who's an incredible shooter, and I always used to say, like, if he could just learn to pass the ball like Navarro does, he'd be unstoppable. Because I mean, that's what made Juan Carlos, I thought, so good, was his ability to find the open man. So it's so much harder to double and triple team him, on and off the ball. So it's funny that you said that. It's always what I felt when I see other players that are just strictly 3-point shooters. He was smart enough to find the open man and get himself free all the
And
time.
give credit also to Xavi, because what we did great in Barcelona, we prepared. We prepared for the game. So when people were trapping him, or what we call now blitzing, we worked on that short pass, we worked on the spray pass. So we came to every game really ready, knowing what the other team was going to do, and also knowing how to counter them.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I'll let you get that in a second, Xavi. You guys were perfect up until almost perfect, the part Desire game, but then you go into playoffs, and I know from being an ex-Real Madrid player, the last thing you ever wanna do is face Barcelona in the playoff or anywhere, anytime that's outside of the regular schedule. You guys get after this incredible so you get to face Real Madrid in the playoffs with a home court advantage, and you lose game 2 at home. That's really the biggest that's really your biggest setback of the season at that time. What happened? I mean, Navarro was down to 4 points, I think. He didn't play a good game. Nobody really played well in that game. What happened in game 2? And of course, I'm trying to pick at something, you know what I mean, where you guys were almost perfect the entire season, but winning game 1, giving up game 2, what did I feel like having to go to Madrid for games 3 and 4?
Okay,
Xavi.
we cannot think too much about this because it's typical on playoff that sometimes it happens in the same day. Okay, to be honest, game 1 and game 2, we didn't play well in both games, but on the first one we found the win. We found the way to win, but also we didn't play in the level that we were playing before. Also because our opponent prepared very well, but also because of us. And I remember in the game 2 that was like, we play several players, we shoot alone, we miss open shots, we miss after good creation, the shots that we were scoring all the season. So it was a little bit uh, under individual frustration, let's say, from some players. I remember the talks
Right.
with Navarro before the game 3, some talks with Ricky. Okay, but after that, game 3 and game 4, we recover our level and we play very well.
But going through a season, I don't wanna discredit your season by any chance. You're 16-1 at that point, and you're going into the second game of playoff. I mean, are you concerned about the mental part of it now? Are you concerned about your team going into game 3 on the road? Bonnie, what about in the locker room? You're like, because there's always a pressure like we ran through this whole season, man. We can't blow this thing now. You know what I mean?
The really amazing thing about that team, it was, I think, our age and level of maturity. Because, like Xavi mentioned, after we lose those games, we knew that's not us, right? So we never really doubted. Like Xavi mentioned, we had really open looks we did not make. So to me, and me and Pete, we talked a lot because he was my roommate. We're going to Madrid, we're going to win both games. That was our mindset because
Right.
we knew what we had and we never doubted. It's a season when, like I said, it's almost like you have the perfect team, like nobody can stop you. So yes, sometimes we didn't have a lot of bad game, but those 2 games were not good games. Even the first game we won, it wasn't a really good game. So we were more motivated going to Madrid because we know we're a better team, we know we play hard. So I did not expect us to doubt or to lose those games because we knew we were ready.
You guys scored only 8 points in that first quarter, so offensively you're already off the mark. And then Andy Thomas had 22 points in that game. So, Bonnie, did you just that 70% of defense you put in all the time, you just decided not to do it that game,
I
or
I
what?
will
Or you blaming that on
I
someone
will
else?
never forget that game, and Xavi was very mad at me because I didn't know Tomic. He just came to Madrid, and I got it. I got it every player very seriously. So I pushed him when I push every player, and Tomic would just turn and left hook and make it, right hook and make it. I said, "Damn, did Pau Gasol came back to Europe?" So no, no, it was. I have to be honest. Xavi knows I knew every player that I defended. I knew what they do. I anticipated everything they do. But I have to be honest. Tomic was a big surprise to me. I did not know, and I defended him like I defended everybody. But after that game, I think it was history. He never scored that many points against me because I took it very personal.
Hey, look, I can tell you that that's true because I looked ahead. I said, let me look ahead and just see if I'm gonna mess with him a little bit, and I got to bring him back up again. So I said, yeah, you shut him down after that. But it was Juan Carlos who really, I mean, games 3, game 4, the Bomba just took over. And I mean, you know, I think good teams, when they have leaders like that and that leader shows up, I think it just means so much more to the chemistry of the team. What was it like watching him in games 3 and game 4, just putting away Real Madrid on their floor?
Yeah, so like I said, that's the leadership. We knew Navarro had that, and he was the leader of that team. So knowing the rivalry between Real Madrid and Barcelona, for me, I understand. I was just enjoying it. You do your part while enjoying it, but hearing the bad word that the fans were saying, about him, and Xavi mentioned it after, it just, it's that brotherhood. You just want to wish him well. Of course, you try to do your other part on the other side of the floor so he can shine. But it was a very special moment, and see him just, take care of that game and just, put Madrid into history.
That I remember also that in that game also Ricky was amazing, but all the team, and also I remember, sometimes coach from the bench. I remember this feeling. You call the plays like this, like that, to because you feel over here I have more advantage, or over there, you call one play to attack in pick and roll, or one play in off screens or something. And I remember the face of Pete in one of these games. I don't remember 3 or 4 that I was not giving the ball to him, and he was ready to kill me. I was playing different. I remember he was playing defense like crazy, and the ball was going to another place, and he was looking at me like, "Wow, I won the ball also." But sometimes all the time you want to attack the weakest point of the other team, and sometimes you have to go in one direction or in another direction. This is what Bonnie said. The most important is that we were one real team, that some players they accept that in some games just to play defense and to win, because the most important was to win for all of us. So this was the biggest part, not to win with my points or to win with my rebounds or to win with my assists. The most important was that the team wanted to win, really wanted to win.
Final Four goes to Paris, and after you guys win this, go to Paris. Of course, Barcelona has a little bit of a history in Paris. I don't know, Bone, if you were around for that history back in the day, but I was part of that history because unfortunately, Barcelona beat me when I was in Madrid in that before that championship game against Panathinaikos. Was there? I mean, I'm sure there wasn't anything going on to talk about that so-called defeat or goaltending back in the
I,
day.
I mean,
Did you guys talk about that? Did you
of
feel something
of
there?
course, I mean we've seen it, and people of course talked about it. But yeah, to me it was, I was happy to know the history, of course, what happened, and probably added a little bit more motivation for us. But me personally, Paris is a special place. Of course, I'm from Senegal. I have a lot of friends, and I had a lot of people to came to that game. So I don't know. I had a feeling almost I was going home. So and in my mind it was like, wow, like I'm in the perfect team, and the final four is in Paris. It was almost like a gift. I have to confess. Uh, I never thought we could lose. That's the mindset. That's the mindset I had, because it's like I said, that was the perfect team. That was the perfect season. You go into it thinking you are invincible, and that's the mindset I really had going to Paris, with many many reasons.
As a coach, Jav, you got to be thinking, man, this guy's going back to Paris where he's got a lot of friends. That's not a good thing either for the first Final Four. You don't want him hanging out with his friends the night before the game. I'm assuming that had to be go through your mind.
Yes, for sure, it came to my mind. But okay, as Bonnie say, always Paris, it's gonna be one special place. It was amazing this weekend what we had together. But it's the feeling was a little bit like Bonnie said. Of course, players are thinking different than coaches, because coaches always you are a little bit more respectful for everything.
Right.
But it's true that we had this feeling inside of the team that this is our year, so we are going to do it. It was like all around us was like this, and really we were flying to Paris. I remember the previous days making the preparation game against Cheska, that inside of the team everybody was convinced that we are going to win.
What was that like going into a Final Four with the team that you lost to last year? Who, man, they were. I had all my stuff here. Trajan Lang and J.R. Holden, Siskauskas. they had an incredible team, and you held them to 54 points. All right, bud, I'll let you go because I got on you not playing defense against Tomic in game 2, and you guys held Cesca to 54 points, one of the highest scoring teams around. What I mean, how'd you pull that one off? Is that you get to thank Xavi for that one too?
Yes, 100%. No, I'm sure he will mention it. That's probably the most tactical team I've ever played with. We were sometimes joking, saying, how many plays do we have? 120, 130? I think we were probably playing 50 plays a game. And in defense also, we were so prepared. And I think it was also a combination. We had really smart players, the experience, the age that Xavi could throw almost everything at us. So no. We came at every game knowing every action, knowing how to defend it, knowing personally what was the strength of the team. Now, if you combine that with the competitiveness of me, Pete, Ricky, Lakovic, we had really dogs, what American call dogs. People were just ready to fight. If you combine that, with the will and of course the amazing coaching staff that were preparing us so good, every game we played was just perfect. So we kind of shocked them. Yes, we stopped them. It was a tough game. Actually, that game was tougher than the final, but we were ready. We were ready, and we counted everything they did.
Xavi, this is like I usually get player and coach, which I do have on the crossover now as player and coach, but it's really I have coach and coach in like today's day, because I mean Bonnie's talking like a coach and he's giving you all the credit in the world.
Thank
And
you.
I mean, I know, Xavi, I know I've watched you over the years. I know you're, if not one of, you're in the top 5 coaches in EuroLeague by without a doubt. Just the way you plan games, that your demeanor during the games. I don't know about practices, like Bonnie said, that they're maybe a little bit more difficult than I see you during the game. But I mean, listening to this from an old player has to feel pretty special, also, right?
Yes, extremely special and special from Bonnie, no? That now he's a coach, and first of all, I didn't say how incredible feeling I have when players that they were with me became coach. This is
Yeah.
something
That
this is something
You,
amazing,
you,
to tell you
you,
the
sh- you,
truth.
sh- you should
Make
you should have warned me, Chavi, that is a crazy job.
yeah, crazy and difficult, and you are 24 hours thinking about this, not like a player that you can make switch off easily. As a coach, you cannot do it. But it's true what Bonnie said. I think is the perfect combination. Tactically, we were amazing. Everything that we were proposing, the players they were accepting and they were doing in amazing way. I remember how we prepared the low post game of Cheska before this game. We create something new that we didn't do it before, to avoid the double team in the low post, just to make one special lateral switch when the ball was flying. And I remember some special tactics, but I'm gonna go a little bit deeper to this Final Four. And Bonnie,
please do.
Bonnie, you will remember. So we first of all we were coaches that with amazing motivation, but still with lack of experience. Let's say we can say like this. And we were going to Final Four, and we prepared one motivation video before the game one. You remember, Bonnie?
Yes, families.
And yeah, and it was one nice video for motivation that all the families, all the important people for each player were sending one message to all the team and to all the players, and it was
Okay.
was amazing. Almost all the team was crying, so it was very very nice. But unnecessary as a coach, I put a little bit more pressure to the players, which from distance immediately I understood that was not right. I had to do it 2 days before, not the day before of the game.
Not the day before.
Yeah. So the team in the first game was going with incredible concentration, incredible intensity, but we were a little bit with too much pressure, a little bit nervous, and this is why in offense we were not in the level that we were all the season. And I think, coaches sometimes we are giving very good things, but sometimes our proposal is to give good things, but sometimes we were wrong. And I can say from the distance now, and even having success, that I was not right with this video, with this decision, because I feel the team more in the level that we have. Because the first game in EuroLeague in Final Four always is difficult,
Yeah.
and I put extra pressure without no reason. And the team was much better in the second game than in the first game.
It's hilarious, Coach. We talked about the fact that we always remember championships. It's nice to talk about them, but we never forget the things we did wrong along the way.
Bravo.
You're taking the 2010 championships where you guys lost 2 games the entire season, and you're blaming yourself for a lackluster performance in game 1 because you did a video one day to it. Come on, man.
Um,
You're being a little bit too hard on yourself, I think.
yes, but as a coach, as now Bonnie is a coach, he knows very well. As a coach, always you are thinking, even when you win, what you are doing well and what you didn't do well. Because here,
Yeah.
as a coaches, we are just with one proposal to help the players to win. This is the only proposal, and we have to understand everything and to be honest with ourselves. And I never mentioned this before, but I want this was
Well,
the
that's a that that
the
that
special.
that's what the crossover is for,
Yeah,
Coach. Come on, man. That's what we do. That's what we do
Xavi, I
here.
have to say that that video was very special, and to be honest, it did affect us. It did add a lot of motivation. Now, did it add too much pressure? I wouldn't say that, but it was very special, and just
It was a special, yes.
yes, seeing your wife, your kids, your parents, just wishing you great messages, and I did inspire myself also for that. So please, Xavi, take more credit for it. It did help a lot.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Xavi, who put that together? Whose idea was that? Was that your idea? Was that
Okay, I don't remember, to tell you the truth, if it was from who from my staff was the idea. I think was not from me, to tell you the truth. I believe was Inigo, but I'm not 100% sure, because
interesting?
because already, as you mentioned, it's 15 years ago, and,
Yeah.
and some details I cannot remember. But I think was Inigo the one who started to think about this.
15 years ago, it wasn't as easy to get videos sent all over the world either, like it is today. It's so easy between WhatsApp or whatever. But
Yeah.
listen, Xavi, you said one thing before tactically, which I find interesting as a player, as a coach, as a guy who loves the game. You went into the Final Four, and we're going to jump into the championship game now. And you said you changed things. You changed some tactics. You changed some things offensively, depending on the other team, and so on and so on. And I think that has to do. I mean, a lot of people would say, "I don't want to change what we do on a normal basis, especially going into the Final Four and that semifinal game, which is the most important game there is, really." And you decided to change things. But I go back to the beginning of our conversation. You kind of said like all the stars aligned perfectly. The ages of the players, the attitude of the players, the character of all your players. Was that what gave you the confidence? A lot of, like I said, I don't know if you've done other Final Fours where you or other championship games where you've changed things, but it's a dangerous ploy to put in a semifinal game and change some tactics along the way.
No, because it was part of our season. Let's say in all the season we were preparing all the games in the same direction. So one coach, first of all, must understand in which point is his team, his players mentally, and how they understand the tactics, how mentally can be prepared in 1 day practice, in 2 days practice, in 3 days practice. It depends how long you have the players, which kind of information they can take, and what they can do in the core. This is something that is a big part of the game now, and especially now that
Yeah,
you have not almost practice to prepare games between,
exactly.
because in double week, for example, you have 1 day just shooting around and just to prepare a small details. So, but in that
Right.
in that period, this thing was like this. As a coach, you knew that if you have 3 days preparation game, you could change things. If you have 1 day, another things, and we were working 50% defensively and offensively to prepare against the opponent. So the team were ready for this.
And in the finals, Bonnie, y'all get jacked up because the football players showed up to watch the championship game or what?
I mean, before you get into a game, it's a build up, right? From the morning you get up, you play the game in your head, you play every action, you play every technique. So when they came in, yes, you look on the side, you saw them, you saw the crowd, but we were already locked in, right? We were very happy, of course, they were there, but I did enjoy it more after the game than during the game because I was already in the process. Once the game starts, I don't hear nothing, I don't see nothing. I'm just
Of course not. Yeah.
locked into the objective. But it was a great feeling first to know how many people just showed up from Barcelona. I think we had probably 8,000 people, and it's almost like we were playing home. So it was a really great feeling to have all that support, mostly from the football team.
That's always fun to have, especially when you're on the road and you're in different circumstances and in a final. But I mean, the Olympiacos game, the final was again. I don't want to discredit your season because, as I said in the beginning, what arguably the best team ever. You guys kind of ran over Olympiacos early on. I think they got back down to like 5 or 6 points in the third quarter. You guys had a little rut there. They pulled it a little bit close, but I mean, it was just pretty much dominated throughout in that final game. I mean, Tommy, this is a dream season, isn't it? I mean, you signed 5 new players. You're bringing an 18-year-old point guard that some people know, but not too many know, and everything just clicks perfectly. As a coach, as you and your staff, 15 and 16 and 2 throughout the season. You only lost 2 games, and it was complete domination.
Yes, yes, it was like this. It was amazing feeling. I remember the first thought that I have after a few minutes to win, that you have this special satisfaction, like what is next? Because
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
no, 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 nobody can make me more happy than this, no? And immediately you thought, of course, to win again. No, it's the
Yeah,
only
of
way to
course.
have
Yeah,
the same feeling. So it was amazing combination, amazing season. I think we deserved from the beginning until the end. We had, remember in semifinals, we had difficulties, and I remember one action or two actions on a row of Pete Mickeal. Also in the final, 1, 2 actions of Navarro that was crucial in that moment to finish the game. Okay, all the games, you have up and downs. The opponents are amazing also, and I had this feeling to dominate the score somehow, but some difficult moments that you need to score, and these players came to the games and changed a little bit. So yes, as you said, amazing feeling. There is nothing better, I think.
nothing better. Bonnie, what about you, man? How that? I mean, again, I go back a little bit of your journeyman stature. You've been to so many teams, so many places, and again, I think all of us, and Xavi, you probably feel the same way, player or coach. You're just lucky. You feel sometimes as you look back on things, man. I'm like, I was so lucky to be in one place at one time at the right moment. And Bonnie, I think that might have been like something for you also,
Oh
right?
yeah, it definitely was. And for me, because my agent was there, it was almost also like a revenge because right after the game, my agent came to the court and he called one coach in France. I will not tell his name. And 5 years,
Uh-oh.
5 years 5 years prior, when I was coming from Germany, I was trying to find a team coming from a broken hand, couldn't find a team. And that coach told my agent I wasn't good enough to play second division in France. So, and my agent called him and said, my agent Bunanya, I can say his name, and said, say congratulations to the EuroLeague champion, the guy that wasn't good enough to play second division in France.
He he called it right. He
right,
called it right
right
there after the
there, right
game.
there. So
Ah, I love it.
yeah.
I love it.
I started basketball late, so my whole career I had to prove that, I could play at a high level. I went through all the stages from the second division in Germany to winning the EuroLeague. So for me, it was a satisfaction in many ways, right? Personally, of course, the team, the organization, the coaching staff, my teammate. It was just a special feeling, and like Xavi mentioned, or feeling that moment, like you say, there's nothing better, because that's what we wanted to achieve, and that's what you work so hard for the season, and having that satisfaction at the end it's just amazing.
Xavi, great. As a coach, it's always gratifying. Like you said, you can only show the players what to do, then they go out and try to win the games. But you had such a span you had Ricky Rubio, like we talked about all day here, is at 18 years old. You had guys that might have been on their last opportunities also, Vasily Lakovic, to get this championship. Rubio and Pete Mickeal didn't get put on the all EuroLeague team. There's motivation for everybody to win this championship, because like we all say, you never know when you're going to get back there again. So you always want to win that one, but how did it feel to see players that were, getting close to retirement at the end of their careers and a young 18-year-old kid, which is probably the worst time to win a EuroLeague championship, to be honest with you. But you're never going to say no to a EuroLeague championship.
Listen, I remember every hug with every player after to win, the typical, no? In the celebration, all the players, there is 1 second that you hug all the players and every different feeling. Because, I am one coach that still now, when I prepare one practice, before to prepare the practice, I put the paper because still I use paper, not computer, to prepare the practice.
That's
O- o-
I do the same
o-
thing,
o-
man.
o- 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 all style. So still now, before to prepare one practice, I write all the names of all the players, and I use these 5 seconds to think about them. Let's say when they are driving their cars and they are coming to the practice, and try to think what they are thinking. For example, if they play well the previous game, if they are more relaxed,
Right.
or if they play bad, if they want to show me, to prepare myself for the practice that is coming. And like this, I will understand better how to help the player, or how to be more strict or more help, or whatever in my reaction. So always I'm thinking about all the players, and this hack was the last moment, let's say, in the EuroLeague to think about them. And some players,
Right.
as you say, like Basile, it was amazing feeling that in the end of his basketball career, he achieved this trophy. And players, for example, like Lakovic, as you mentioned, that also I feel proud that he's a great coach as of now. And he didn't play the final, and he was very important in all the season. But
Right.
but in semifinals he played, and the final no, because I decided to play with Vitor Sada, because Olympiacos was playing with Papaloukas in the Lopos, and I didn't want to create one mismatch over there. And he didn't play the final, and he was happy. But this hack was special because, okay, sometimes it's like chess, no? You have to sacrifice one piece to win
Yeah.
the game, let's say. And he didn't play, and he deserved to play. You understand? And for one coach,
Yeah. It's a type.
it's terrible this, because
It,
all the season he was over there playing, and that game he didn't play. Like Jordi Trias, for example. Now this every hack was different or Grimau, that was the captain. Every feeling was different. Or Basket or Boni, Morris, that were ready to 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 finish his basketball life, let's say, Lorbeck, Pete, with everyone different feeling. Was amazing moment to.
yeah. I coach kids at times, and they're just young kids that are not even great players. But when I don't play one, it's hard for me to even look at them at the end of the game. I don't know how you you do it in a championship game.
Yeah.
The guy doesn't play, but hey, that's a sacrifice we all make. We got two more things left. One is going to be your starting five for the all 25th anniversary thing. But before I get to that, I got a tougher question, Bodie. I got to go to you first. Is this collectively the best EuroLeague team in the last 25 years?
I
Let's say 20. Let's say 24 years, since this year isn't over yet.
I have no doubt about it. I might be maybe not fair because I was part of it, but until today, I call that the perfect team. I think every position was double. We had two players that could start. Probably Pete and Navarro were the only one maybe that did not have great competition at their position, but the other people that were there were just complementing them. So yes, offensively and defensively, tactically, I think is the best team I've ever played with.
It's tough. It's tough to find somebody to take over Pete and Navarro to be better coming off the bench. Tommy, what about you? The best EuroLeague team ever here, and I have to congratulate you. You're still the only Spanish coach to win a EuroLeague, I believe, right?
No, also Pablo.
Oh, with
Yeah.
Pablo,
and
yeah.
also
Yeah, you were the first, though.
the first one.
You were the
The
first.
first one,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
First one.
choose also.
Well, I think about Pablo. Forget
Yeah,
about Pablo.
and
Yeah.
also choose now.
We're gonna, hey, as our guy Pablo said, we can edit that part out. That was a terrible question on my part. I did well until the end.
No, but I think it was the first one. Yes. So it's difficult to be part of this team and to say yes in this answer, because I have big respect for all the coaches and teams that they were in during these 25 years. From I don't know if we are the best, but for sure one, two, third position, this 100%. But from our point of view, we were the best team ever in this EuroLeague 25 years.
Well, like I said, I've done most of my research on you guys here in the last few days when I knew that I was going to do this interview with you, this podcast, and when I looked over the numbers and I looked over the team, I looked over everything because I had just gotten back into Spain after I retired back in 2010, and I think the first Final Four I saw after I left was 2011, which was in Barcelona, I think. And man, I'm going over the numbers. I'm like, man, this has got to be, like you said, if not the best team, or maybe you don't even have to say the best team, but it was one of the best seasons ever.
Exactly.
You know, just to put it that way,
Exactly.
it's definitely one of the best seasons ever. So, before we get into this, I want to thank you guys. I'll thank you again once we're done. This is going to be the hardest part of your interview right here, but I think you guys probably already got it figured out pretty much. I try to tell you, don't pick all your players and all your teammates or whatever. Let's make it somewhat fair. So let's go. Starting five of the 25th year anniversary. Who wants to start? I'm not going to choose. Who wants to start? Bonnie, go ahead.
Bonnie, you.
That's not fair.
Bonnie,
That's
you
not
go.
fair.
Hey, man, it's a seniority thing. I'm the oldest guy here. Tommy's the second oldest, and you're
Wow.
you're the
Wow.
youngest.
Okay. So I would say, yeah, I have a lot of respect for Ricky, of course, but he didn't play long enough in EuroLeague. But I would put Spanulis as a point guard, my starting point guard, because of just what he's done through the history, of course, what he represents today. Definitely, I cannot pass on Navarro. I think he is one of the greatest players I played with. And sorry again.
My man, right now,
Yeah.
hey, right now we're 2 for 2. Keep
Yes.
going. I'm out of here.
I put Pete Mickeal as my starting three also, because that's the guy. If it's not him, it might be Roman Saro, but he was definitely one of the most competitive guy I ever played with. As a four, I would put Mike Batiste. I think also what he's done,
Mike with
yes,
this nice.
in EuroLeague, and what how many times he won. And then the five was the tougher one, and I end up with Thiago Splitter, because probably because he was one of my toughest opponents to play against. But he's also done great things. How many times we went to Final Four, and unfortunately he never won. But yeah, I definitely put him out as my five. So Spanulis, Navarro, Pete Mickeal, Mark Batiste, and Thiago Splitter.
Nice. Hey, coach, that was pretty well done, man. Maybe you should have gone first.
Yes,
Too late.
maybe yes, because I didn't thought about this, and I'm gonna go.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go with a small ball. So more,
Uh-oh, small ball.
yes, because more or less the same. But I am in Spanulis. I am in Navarro. I am in Diamantidis.
Diamante. Oof, I forgot. Man, tough to leave him out of any lineup, isn't it?
So because for me it's difficult to make a starting five, and after that I will put over here Pete Mickeal and Bodiroga.
I hope the other team doesn't have big boys in the middle, man. They're gonna run your Lorbeck play right off the bat and beat you up in the middle of the paint, man. I know, I know Dan would shake down any big guy, but he's not gonna guard anybody down low. I can tell you that.
I will find a way tactically to play against everybody.
And according to Boney, that's exactly what you've done best over your entire career. So, fellas, thank you so much, man. This is just another amazing hour for me to be able to sit down with you guys. Xavi, you and I have done this before, and it was a pleasure then. It's even more of a pleasure now. And as I said, the feeling I get, when I've been lucky enough to win one of these championships, and when I get sit down and I see my teammates, my old teammates, it's always a special feeling. And knowing that you guys haven't seen each other for a while, it makes me feel good that I was kind of able to bring you guys back together. So thank you guys for taking the time out from different parts of the world and spending this hour with me at the Crossover.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
It's the Crossover with Joe Arlauckas, taking you back 15 years to 2010 when FC Barcelona dominated the competition, winning in Paris. And today your guests are the coach, Xavi Pascual, and one of his players, Boniface Ndong, right here on the Crossover with Joe Arlauckas. Remember, you can check out this Crossover podcast on all audio platforms. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the Crossover with Joe Arlauckas.